In this recording, I want to take you through the quarterly investment and performance review of Lunar Capital for the period ending 30th of June 2024. Just important to note our disclosures, so kindly take a look at that, and we are required, by our regulators to provide these disclosures to you. So 8 years on, Lunar Capital, we launched our first product, on the 1st of June 2016. So we're 8 years into our first product, and it's nice to kind of look back and see that the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible Fund has been a top quartile performer in all periods, 1 to 8 years, in the Worldwide Flexible Fund category. So absolutely very, very pleased, with the performance of our fund, and also very grateful for everyone, that have, entrusted us, with investing their funds for them. We are also all our employees, our directors, as well as our shareholders are all invested in this fund as well. So, we also have skin in the game. So it's not just about, earning fees, from clients. It's about, it's about also eating our own cooking. I think very, very pleasing as well is that if we look at the performance of the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible Fund over the 8 years since its existence against all funds that were available in South Africa at that time, actually we are in the top 10%. So so if you started with us, right up in the beginning, you would have certainly been invested in one of the top 10% of funds, available, to South Africans at that particular point in time. So these statistics all come from, verifiable sources, like MoneyMate and Iris. And it's important to also note, that, past performance is not an indication of future performance, but obviously, it is our job, to continue to seek, these levels of returns and providing positive returns to our clients. That is basically our job. Yeah, so just to compare, for example, over the last year against some of the major indices, the JSE was up about 4.5% over the year. The S&P 500, which is a US market, 26.25%. The MSCI Worldwide Index, 19.5%. The South African Rand actually, interestingly, is strengthened by 2.5% against the US dollar. And as we indicated earlier, the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible Fund, was up 23.5% approximately. Okay, so just gives you a sense of, how we compared, against the major indices in this period. So the question again, comes to how do we, how do we attain these levels of performances? Okay, so I think that, this is a message that I can kind of continuously give, probably since, very early days in our in our existence. So our investment philosophy is that we are owners, in quality businesses with high growth potential and significant competitive advantage. So, that is our philosophy. So we're looking for quality businesses. We're looking for them, to be able to grow, and we're looking for them to have competitive advantages, that means that they can retain, their competitive positions over, an extended period of time. The question then, is what does it mean to be an owner of these businesses? And if we look at those businesses, would you be proud to be an owner of these businesses? So if we look at the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible Fund and our offshore portfolios, these are some of the assets these are some of the companies that we are owners of in those businesses. And if you're an investor, with us, then basically you are also an owner in these businesses. So the only exception there is in ShopRite, which is not in the offshore portfolios for obvious reasons. But if you look at the various businesses, right, the green ones are basically, those that are in the tech sector. So ASML, the company that produces the lithography equipment to basically print computer chips, okay, almost a monopoly, in the industry, and because of this demand for chips, for smaller chips, the technology that they have to be able to produce that, will be, in our view, in demand, for at least the next few years. So really very happy to be invested in that company. The other tech companies that we are invested in is in NVIDIA and Microsoft and Amazon. And all three of them have some element of, firstly, AI, in their businesses. NVIDIA being effectively a designer of these AI chips, and their design process, is very innovative, and regularly producing better and better chips, and faster chips, and more energy efficient chips, to be able to process, this potential demand, coming through from AI. Microsoft, the doyen of the industry, run by probably one of the greatest business leaders, in the world at the moment, in Satya Nadella. Really transformed that business into a very, very effective cloud business, a very effective, AI play, and they really pushed, the boundaries on AI, and suddenly got everyone, catching a big wake up, to be able to start, working on AI. And then, of course, Amazon, which is there, number 10 in the top 10. Just by the way, Amazon and Microsoft, have been in our portfolio almost since the beginning. So we've held them over a very, very long period. Even during, the crisis in 2020, 2022, we held through them, and they've actually performed, well, despite, the dip that they took during that particular period in time. Amazon, also great in cloud, also positioning itself very well, in this AI space. So happy to be owners of those businesses. The other business that we've got, in this top 10 is Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway, run by Warren Buffett, and we like this business because it gives us some level of diversification for the kind of businesses that we traditionally are more comfortable in investing. So, for example, it has got some energy businesses, and as I've indicated, the demand for energy, is significant, and that's why, people like NVIDIA are trying to design these chips that are much more efficient. So, energy is a big play, and that is one of the, one of the strengths, of the Berkshire portfolio. Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly, two large companies. Novo Nordisk, the Danish company, that produces, the drugs for obesities, or the treatments rather for diabetes and obesity. Trying to mix those two words together. Eli Lilly, in a similar space. Eli Lilly also having, for example, an Alzheimer's treatment that they basically are looking to, to get approval for. So, they've got approval, to go to the next stage, of the development of that, of that treatment. Eli Lilly, interestingly, recently been approved by the Indian authorities, for treatment of obesity in the Indian market, which is also, a large market, for obesity and diabetes. So really very, very well positioned, for us, in our view, to take advantage, of these what we call modern diseases. Walmart and ShopRite, our two retail businesses. ShopRite, obviously not in the offshore portfolio, but both of these businesses incredibly well run. Very strong control of their supply chains, making sure that products, get the right products, get to the right stores at the right time. Number one. Number two, using technology to be able, to create better insights into their business, to be able to provide, for example, in Walmart's case, improving their online delivery, but also, using that, for example, to sell additional services like advertising, on their platforms, just giving them that additional level of revenue, at a very, very low cost. So, improving their margins. Shoprite really being a leader in the South African retail market, across all spheres. And really, if you look at some of the competitors in their space, they've really struggled, to perform in our environment. Yet Shoprite, has been able to, to manage, to continue to grow. So really very happy to be in that business. In the the banking and financial services space, we've got UBS, and what you're not seeing on the slide, is JP Morgan. So big, large, big banks, very well managed banks. UBS and JP Morgan, we bought them when there were crises in their particular countries, and some of the other banks in that. And we typically go for the quality bank, and both of them have done incredibly well for us. Okay, so this is really, a view of the kind of companies that we feel we want to be owning. So, if you have been an investor with us, or if you are an investor with us, these are the businesses, that we say quality businesses with high potential growth, behind them, a potential to grow their businesses, and you want to be an owner in these businesses. So I, as an investor in the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible and Offshore, also definitely very happy to be an owner of these businesses. So the question then is, how do we achieve that, right? So, I mean, this is a slide that you've seen before. If you have seen the previous ones, so firstly, we say, what are some of these mega trends that could potentially provide some tailwinds to certain businesses or certain industries, okay? And so we try to identify those by listening to experts, by reading, as much as we can, and we often go into a particular area in a level of detail, right? So, for example, reading, a book, on the semiconductor industry, and what is the supply chains, who are the players, what are the potential threats, who has the best competitive advantage. And when we get that, we have a much deeper understanding, than if you're just following somebody on Twitter, or one of these other kind of, websites or blogs or whatever it is. Okay, so that gives you a sense of, how we try and achieve, how we try and identify those trends. And once we say, okay, we think that this is a good trend, then we look at the particular companies that could benefit from that trend, and we do a specific evaluation of them. Okay, on a quantitative point of view, like, what is their valuation, how's their growth, what is their margins looking like. And then we also look at some of the qualitative side, so for example, how innovative it is, right? If you take a company like Nvidia, Shoprite, Amazon, these are incredibly innovative businesses. Okay, so and that you can't see that in numbers. You have to try and understand, the underlying culture of that company. So, that gives you a sense of how we try and identify those companies, and then eventually, we decide whether we're going to have that in our portfolio or not, and how big a position we're going to have, and that's how we basically construct that. That's how we get to these, to these businesses. So overall, I just want to quickly say that, we're looking at interest rates coming down, but slowly. We think that the prognosis for AI is good, but particularly, for example, in some of the, in terms of the applications of that. So we're looking for those opportunities. We think that energy, will be a big factor, as the ramp up, of usage of AI chips, gets underway. Elections are coming and going, and they're all having some impact, and we've seen some of that in our environment. And geopolitical risks, are still there, and that's why, for example, we are invested, for example, in some cybersecurity businesses, that tries to to protect businesses and other institutions, against malware, etc. So if you want to invest, with us, we've got the two products, which is the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible Fund and the Direct Offshore Portfolio, which is a minimum of R500,000. We're happy to talk to you about that. You can contact us there. You can just go to our website and contact us, send us an email, phone us and get that. You can also subscribe to some of our newsletters, etc. Yeah, and at the end of the day, for if you're looking to invest with us, we certainly would be able to provide you with some offshore exposure at very, very low levels. For example, if you come into, the Lunar BCI Worldwide Flexible Fund, we have got in our view, a good 8-year track record. We have skin in the game, so we are invested in there as well. And absolutely, we're happy to talk to you face to face. We're happy to talk to you over Teams. We're happy to talk to you, over a cup of coffee, just so that you can get a sense of who we are, what we do, and give you that level of comfort. So we like the personalized service. Thank you very much. That's our contact details right there.